Hello, Karina?
David?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Karina, nice
Nice
to meet you, David.
You likewise. Welcome to the Wheeler Clinic.
Thank you.
Wow. I was going over your resume a few minutes ago.
Okay.
And I'm very impressed with this.
Okay.
You went to Fordham University?
Yes.
That's in the Bronx, right?
That's in the Bronx.
Did you go to the Bronx campus or?
Yes, the Bronx campus. I'm actually from the Bronx.
You are?
Yeah.
That's excellent. I remember Fordham. I did my program there for ROTC.
Oh, wow.
You know the quad in the center, that big Keating Tower that they have up there?
Keating.
Yes. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of stories to go there. A lot of stories there.
Good stories.
Good stories. Always good stories.
Okay.
But Fordham's an excellent university. And then when I saw that on your resume, I was very impressed. And in addition to that, you're bilingual.
Yes,
and
I'm
we
bilingual.
are definitely looking for someone who is bilingual for this position. I also noticed that you're fluent.
Yes, so I can speak it, read it, and also I can write Spanish too. In Spanish.
That's excellent. I'm very grateful. I'm very happy to hear that you could actually write it and read it. A lot of people cannot. They can just speak it fluently. Okay. So, you currently have worked for the same organization, JobPath, for 10 years.
Yes.
You must be doing something really good there.
Yes, well, I mean, it's been a journey. I started out as a direct support worker, then I moved up to counselor, doing case management, and right before the pandemic, I moved to compliance, doing compliance work. So, yeah, I've had different roles.
Different roles?
Yeah, right now I'm the compliance manager for my department. Yeah, but I feel like, it's been great. It's been a journey, like I said, but I'm ready to get into the behavioral health field. Yeah.
Good. With the department that you were managing, how many? What was the staff like? How many folks were there?
Well, as far as staff, I believe it's like 35.
35?
35 in our department.
Okay. So were you responsible for 35 people, or were you part of the group?
Well, I don't manage a team, but I do help our team of managers with like documentation and meeting deadlines. And I step in when one of the managers is out on vacation or is away. So I help with case note approval and review, and yeah. And also in my department, I'm the trainer.
You're the trainer.
Yes, I train new staff on how to write case notes, how to submit them, and yeah, also the ins and outs of.
That's wonderful. So when the management is absent, they have you step in.
Yes.
And also you're responsible for training a lot of the new people that are hired. That's a lot of responsibility. Good for you. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. All right. So I had a question for you. You meet someone, okay? New person comes in, and how do you build an alliance with them? How do you build common ground to get them to trust you, to work with you if you came to work for our clinic?
Well, I'm happy that, at my time at JobPath, I did do case management for 5-6 years, and right now, even though I do compliance, it's like I wear many hats. I also manage 3 cases, so, and 2 of them are new. When some of our staff left, I took over to help out, so I'm the temporary counselor for some of our clients. And I guess, when meeting someone new, it's important to give them a space to be comfortable with me first, get to know me as well, and also, I guess, establish boundaries.
Yeah.
Some clients are comfortable talking about their lives right away and their challenges, but others aren't. So yeah, so just setting boundaries, allowing them to set boundaries, what they're comfortable doing, and also, yeah, letting them get to know me as well. Because
That's wonderful. That's good.
I think that's how you
I like that, setting
trust.
boundaries. right from the onset.
Right from the beginning.
And the respect there. Good. Now, as a clinician with us, at times you're going to have clients that are not very fluent or cannot understand English very well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'll have to step in. Has there ever been a situation where your bilingual skills have been beneficial for a client? Can you give me an example of that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So across the years, I have worked with families that where the client is bilingual, their first language is Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
On some occasions, they were comfortable speaking to us in English, but the parent wasn't. The parent only spoke Spanish. And there were times where I had to step in and just listen to the parent. It was the mother, usually, who had concerns or wanted to express frustration over how things were being handled at the work site, because the department where I work in is employment. So what we do is we help adults with disabilities find employment, and once they're placed in a site, we help them with the ongoing relationship and maintaining the job, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so the mom was not happy with how things were going at the job. Also, her son's schedule was just not ideal for him or for her. So she didn't know how to communicate that to the employer, to us. But I took initiative, and we spoke over the phone a few times, and I was able to understand what was going on.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't have been able to communicate that to us otherwise if she doesn't know English. So it worked out. We were able to help.
Do you find that the clients, when they learn that, oh wow, she speaks our native language, how do they react to that? Are they more comfortable with you right away, or do they still hold back a little bit?
No, I think for the most part, it's always an immediate. The comfort level goes up immediately, and instead of them trying to find the words on how to say something, it's like an immediate, this is what's going on, this is how we feel, can you do this, or can we work on this? It makes a big difference being able to speak their language.
I feel like you have some common ground there.
Yes.
Common ground there, and they feel comfortable with you. That's great. It's important for this job that our clients, when they come to us, that they feel comfortable, they're respected, and like you said before, there's appropriate boundaries in place.
Yes.
And that they come to a judgment-free, center.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Good. Now, sometimes it's not all roses here, okay? And situations do occur where, you may be concerned either for your safety or the client's safety or someone else the client might be related to or knows. What would you do in that case if you got the sense that there might be some concern there?
Let me see. Well, first thing would be to speak to my supervisor, have a discussion, with my team or my supervisor, come up with a plan on what's the best course of action.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And there's a question that people always ask, which I really don't like this question. Tell me something that one of your points that's not very strong, something that you're not strong in. Well, guess what? I'm not going to ask you that question. You know why? Because we all have something that we like to hide, or we all have something that we're not strong in. I want to ask you about your strengths. What you think your personal strengths are.
Let me see. My strengths.
Should I go back to the other question?
No.
No, just kidding. That's good.
I like to be thorough. I like to be thorough. Think the details are important, and when the details are taken care of, you have a bigger picture, and it's solid. I know that's a little vague, but
details are important.
Yeah, I'm detail oriented. I like to be organized. Also, I think I can think, I can have an open mind. I'm able to have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when some things might look a certain way immediately, but I think, yeah, by keeping an open mind, I'm able to maybe catch things that otherwise would not have been visible. Or yeah, so I'm open-minded, detail-oriented.
Excellent, excellent.
And of course,
I love the details. I'm a detail kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
I love details, especially in cases. We need to know the details of everything.
Yes, we need to know the details.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in in this field. I think, yeah, details are important to know. Yeah, to see the case as in a bigger picture.
Good, very good. Well, one nice thing about our clinic is that we understand that a lot of times our clinicians have big cases, and it can get a little overwhelming. And a lot of them, just like, it's human to get upset, and it's human to get frustrated, and even to the point of feeling burnt out. So what we try to do is every Friday take like 2 hours to have a staff, self-care meeting where we all talk about our feelings and we talk about our emotions and the week, and we try to like get strength from one another.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, we really do that. We really care about our employees here. For you, in your last 10 years and doing so many cases at the Job Path, what are strategies that you've done for self-care to keep yourself motivated for 10 years to keep coming back every day and helping people out?
Let's see. I guess one thing that's been great is meeting different people. I think it keeps the work, I guess, fresh. As far as self-care, though, I mean, definitely taking days off. So yes, I think every month, like taking scattered days off has helped me, especially because I'm a mom, and I found it hard at first after my son was born to find a balance between, a full-time employee and a full-time mom. So that definitely helped.
Good.
Just taking time off here and there, whether it's just one day every 2 weeks, to just handle my to-do list, get back on track.
Yeah, do self-check-in.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be happy to know that in addition to all the major holidays that we're off here, everyone gets a personal day every month. We call it a self-care day. So you'll have that day.
Wow, that's awesome.
And you'll be able to book it ahead of time. All right.
Okay.
And we have a wonderful employee benefit package for you. That's going to be full medical coverage for you and your son.
Okay.
Okay, for the family. It includes dental, eye care. Okay. We also have a lot of discounts with local merchants. You get like 20 to 30% off for furniture, fast food. So we have a lot of things. We like to make sure that our employees are taken very good care of, because we expect a lot from them when they come here.
Yes, of course. We need to be in a good state.
I need you in a good state of mind to deal with folks that are not in that place.
Yes,
okay?
it makes complete sense.
It really does. Well, do you have any other questions? Any questions for me, possibly?
No, not at the moment. But if it's okay, if I think of anything,
absolutely.
I'll reach out.
You have my name. You have our contact number, and I'll make sure to keep your resume here. Okay, we have a few other people to interview for the position, but my office will get back to you by the end of the week.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, take care of yourself.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye. Take care. Do we just keep going?
David.
Hello.
David,
How are you?
Hi, I'm
David.
Karina. Karina, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
It's a nice day today, right?
Oh, it's a beautiful day.
A lot of traffic, or you made it okay?
I made it okay. I have Waze, so it gets me everywhere I need to
And
go.
you're early, so thank you for being here a little earlier.
the appointment was at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I got here at 5:50. That's on time.
Yes,
Okay,
yes it is. You got it.
You got it, thank you.
So let's get started here. I see here you have over 20, almost 30 years of experience in property management, construction.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my first question for you is, what motivated you to make this career change? Especially, well, you know, as you know, we work with veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what made you take this step?
It comes a point in people's lives. They come to crossroads,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm there now. Okay, I've had a really good life. I've worked really hard. I built a business up for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to inspire a lot of people that worked for me to go on their own and to start their own businesses. I've been able to provide for my family. But most of all, the reason why this position and this field appeals to me, mostly this position, it's kind of like I'm completing a circle again. When I was very young, I actually served in the military.
Oh, okay.
I was in the National Guard, and it was one of the most proudest times of my life. I was so proud to be in the National Guard in the military. And I've always had an inclination to go back or to do something more. Okay, kind of like serving my country once again. And as a medical health care provider, I saw an opportunity there. Okay, to help a lot of people who have done quite a bit. Okay, it's something that I could actually be very proud of to do for the next 20 years.
Okay.
What I do now, I love. I really enjoy my profession, but I'm going to be retiring soon.
I see.
And I don't really see myself playing golf for more than 2 weeks, okay? Or, you know, taking it easy. I'm not that kind of person. I like to stay involved, I like to stay busy, and I like to be productive in things that are meaningful.
I see.
And to me, working at a veterans center would be an extremely meaningful and very proud thing to do. And I believe that my experience in so many different areas and aspects of life is going to benefit a lot of young men and also older veterans that come back just for a check-in. So that's one of the reasons why I really am pursuing this new field of mine, and I really want to concentrate with the veterans.
Okay.
I think I'm going to be able to work with them and just help them focus on strategy building, how to reestablish relationships with their families, and most of all, how to accept what they have done and move forward in their new lives. As we all call it, civilians. Okay, because many of them have been in the military for some time, and that's like that's like a family. So they're basically leaving one family and going to another family, and they're going to need a little help along the way.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all that. It sounds to me like, you know, at your core, you just want to help people, and you know, I started with, you know, your time in the National Guard, and yeah, now you want to also, you know, continue to give back and helping those same people. Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
So now, so I see you have, you know, a lot of experience, property management, construction. Have you, besides your time in the military, have you worked with veterans or individuals?
I haven't worked with veterans directly or specifically, but when I did serve in the military, I was actually an officer.
Okay.
Okay. And during my training as an officer, we actually received counseling training.
Oh, okay.
Now that was about, maybe about 30 years ago. Okay. And it was only about 3 or 4 hours long, but it was part of our training.
Okay.
Because we were there to provide not only moral judgment, direction, supervision, but also to be there for the livelihood of the people that we were responsible for. And sometimes that was we were responsible not only for the soldiers that we were managing, but we also had to be aware that they had families. A lot of them, they had families. So that's important. And as a counselor in a veterans center, it's important that what I learned in the military can be brought over. For example, everyone in the military is not the same. And someone who is going to be working with that population has to have an understanding that there are people who are enlisted, and then there's officers, and that there are different branches of service, and they're not all the same. They all have different mission statements, and they all have different military occupational skills. And that's important. And there's also a lingo, a certain language
Yes,
that
definitely.
happens in the military. And the more that I could bring that to a counseling session, the more comfortable that person may be with me. Okay, they may open up to me a little bit. I'm aware that I'm going to have resistance. It's a very dominant population sometimes. It can be very dominant, and that's male and female. I also know that a lot of it's going to be young men. About 85% will be young men. A lot of them, right out of high school, join the military.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So they've never really been exposed to how to be a civilian, how to have a relationship outside, a post. Okay. So those are very specific details and points that a counselor should be aware of.
Yes,
when
I
working.
completely agree, and definitely, you being a veteran yourself is it's going to make a big difference, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I called you in today for this interview, because you have that valuable life experience that is definitely going to would help with this role.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you, in your opinion, what's the most what are the two most common issues faced by veterans during that transition from transition to civilian life?
Yeah. It can be broken probably down to three categories. Psychological, which is what everyone refers to it as PTSD.
PTSD, okay.
Okay. Then there's moral injury. Moral injury you normally can't see, but it's there, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. And then the third one is just being discharged from one family and then finding yourself in a new family. With when there's PT and PTSD, it takes a lot of forms. It could be depression, lack of sleep. It could be suicidal thoughts. It's a very high rate of suicide in people in the military and people that have left the military. There's a lot of it could be due to decisions they had to make, or things that they witnessed, not that were actually involved, but that they witnessed or were part of because their unit was part of it and they have an attachment to that unit. So PTSD takes a lot of forms, and there's a lot of reasons for it. Then you have moral injury, which sometimes you get a very young person who is very spiritual or religious, and they have a certain core values, and they had to compromise those core values for survival or the survival of the people they were with. And that's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with something that could happen, at a school playground. We're dealing with things that happen overseas, in foreign countries, when you're alone with no family resources other than the people you have with you.
Yeah.
So an entire family dynamic takes over. And so therefore there's always conflict with moral injury, which kind of leads to the third issue, when they're being discharged from this family, this military family, and they're going to their other family.
With completely different needs and
it could be a 22-year-old Marine who was in Afghanistan for 3 tours. His wife has been waiting with the 2 kids, waiting for him to come home. He comes home, he's not home. He has no idea what he's doing. All he's known is the Marine Corps since the day he graduated high school. Now we have other issues to deal with. We have to deal with marriage issues, financial issues. And the reason I say financial issue is because when you're in the military, you're guaranteed a paycheck. You're guaranteed at least 3 meals, shelter. So all you have to do is your job. And now you get out, all those resources are not available to you. It's not as easy to have everything available to you anymore. Your direction that you constantly had, now you're on your own. And you're expecting a lot more from people. So there are a lot of things that go into when they get discharged. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things, besides psychological, moral, relocating into the civilian life. I take that.
Now, transitioning to my next question, you brought this up. So let's say, a client of ours is resistant to treatment or just counseling. What strategy would you use?
No specific strategy other than, okay, we don't have to talk about counseling. We don't have to talk about therapy. We could talk about baseball. You don't have to be here. Why are you here? Are you concerned about being here, about some maybe negative stigma in regards to your chain of command or your fellow, soldiers or airmen or Marines? But you can't force anyone to do counseling, especially individuals that are very strong-willed. Okay, from the first day they got off the bus and went to basic training, feelings were left on the bus. Okay, there's no room for feelings. Okay, there's no room for any of that. So now we're trying to reintroduce a new concept of existence, because they obviously need it, and it's going to take a little more time. But probably the most important thing is to find out why they're there.
Yes.
What I would probably do is work on some type of solution-focused therapy with them initially to give them something, because my time with them may be short. I don't know if they're being deployed the next day, reassigned, maybe they're transitioning out, maybe they're being deployed, maybe they're never going to come back. Okay, but I know one thing, they're used to problems being resolved. Fix it.
Yeah, and also structure.
Structure, and let's fix the problem. Let's not waste any time talking about it. What does it take to fix it?
Yes.
So maybe I may have to, instead of talking about all the different aspects of feelings and connections, let's talk a little bit about fixing the problem and then discuss how we got there so it doesn't happen again. Utilize their skills of analytical thought and strategy, and apply that to their basic problem-solving skills. And that's
because it happens often where a lot of our clients, usually it's men, they don't want to talk about feelings, emotions. They want to talk about the facts and certain factors and how those are affecting their lives and what to do about it. So yeah, definitely.
I'll give you a perfect example. A woman was discharged from the Marine Corps. She went home to her husband, who was never in the service. Reverse roles.
Okay.
And he was waiting very patiently for 3.5 years with 1 child. She got home, discharged, but they had a lot of marital problems. It was all about communication. It wasn't even sexual. It was about communication. Because when she would have a problem, she was concerned about something, or she couldn't sleep at night, she didn't say, honey, can I talk to you about something? She would leave the bed, call her male Marine Corps friends that she was deployed with in Afghanistan and speak to them about her problems and about her marriage. And her husband is now waking up to an empty bed. Who are you on the phone with? Why are you on the phone with him?
Yes, yes, yes.
And it's all innocent.
Yes.
It's all innocent, but that's her family, and it's been her family for 3.5 years. And that's where I step in, trying to find some common ground, trying to help them figure it out, and that's part of my job.
Okay, very good. Can you share an experience where you collaborated with military or civilian agencies or organizations on a project?
Okay. I'm going to have to take the civilian side to this.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
I have to. It's been a long time, but in my line of work with building construction and management, I work with multiple organizations simultaneously.
Okay.
I could be working with excavators when we're leveling the ground. At the same time, I'm working with architects and looking at three-dimensional blueprints. And while we're doing that, the electricians are coming in, the heating ventilation technicians are coming in. Everybody's coming at the same time.
A lot of teamwork, right?
A tremendous amount of teamwork. Everything has to be transparent in what we do. Then we have the other person, the watchdog, who is the building department. Okay? And they're coming in to make sure that we're doing our job, and they're overseeing our work, and we sometimes are on their schedules. So it requires a lot of patience and a lot of communicating.
A lot of communication, yeah.
And memo writing.
Okay,
And memo writing, because even though we talk about it, we have to write it down. But it's so much. At one time, in one day, I could have 100 conversations with 100 different people about the same topic.
Wow.
It could be that day, or it could be the day where I'm in my office.
That many parties involved.
There's a lot of parties involved. Or you just tell, or then and everyone always has an assistant, and that assistant has an assistant, and then they have an apprentice. Okay. And then I'm making a phone call. And I've always learned one thing very important. In all these organizations and agencies, when you make a phone call, that's key. Who's ever on the other side of that call, give them the utmost respect, because they're going to decide if you get through or you don't. They're going to decide if you get put on a hold or you don't. So everyone has to be treated with respect and equality, regardless of their position.
Yes, exactly. And we should be consistent with how we treat others, and
It's a lot of people skills. It's a lot knowing when to talk, when not to talk, setting boundaries, and communicating, most importantly.
Okay.
And I've always found to be very transparent with people.
Okay.
Because if you're not, it always comes back to you.
Yep, yeah. That's very important. Okay, one last question.
Yes.
How do you manage stress and burnout when dealing with emotionally demanding situations overall?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't do it very well. Okay. But thank God, every morning I start off the day with a positive attitude. And it's always at the same cafe stop. I always go for coffee at the same spot. Everyone knows me there. I get a cup of coffee. I see a different person every morning, and I leave with a smile. And then I try to stay very positive throughout the day. And I do communicate with my wife. If something's going south, something's not working out, I usually give her a call. If she's available, we'll chat a little bit. She does the same for me. And that gives me a little bit more pep, a little more energy, and I keep going. And it's also important to remember to take time off. I do not work weekends anymore. I used to be a workaholic. I used to be a workaholic. I love to work. Listen, I love to work. I plan on working for the next 20 years, like I said.
Yes.
But I've learned, when to stop. So weekends is my time, my family's time to do what we need to do. And that's enough. And one thing I've learned about life is conflict is conflict. Problems are problems. And most problems and conflicts can be resolved. It just means it all comes down to how much you want to really put the time into it, to either coming up with a solution or negotiating the problem so that all sides feel validated and they win. A lot of times in construction, it is so many people there, and there's a lot of hotheads, and there's a lot of testosterone, and that goes both ways, men and women.
Right,
okay? And you got to be the voice of reason, and everybody has to leave the table like they got something out of it. Like everyone won. And when everybody wins, everyone's happy, and we all go on to the next project, and everything works out.
Okay.
When people are alienated, when they're meant to feel, devalued or not be the right word for it. Just accepted.
Or acknowledged.
Not acknowledged. It doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
They get angry. They don't do their work. They slack off, and eventually they leave. And then you have to start all over again. And I'd rather work with someone than have to start over again if I can. That's all.
So you find ways to make it work.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the key.
Yeah.
We're all people.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Dave.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
This was great. Thank you for your time.
All right.
We'll stay
Take
in touch.
care.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye, Dave.